Hey guys, this is Thedos, and I'm currently playing Lords of the Fallen. I'm going to go ahead and just give a short review of the game, probably only going to be about 10 minutes. The game's very good, so anything I could have said for Dark Souls stands out, at least in the combat aspect. The story is kind of bland, linear, kind of story doesn't really stand out too well, so I'll just be honest there. Mostly anything good that's going to come from this game is the gameplay in its entirety. So like the gear system, the loot system, like the different weapons you find, armor, all that. That's where this game's really going to stand out the most. But the game doesn't really stand out too well when compared to Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Salt and Sanctuary even, Bloodborne. It doesn't stand up to those. Salt and Sanctuary is one of my favorite games I've played on PS4. This game is also one of my favorite PS4 games, and it's even a game that I have started considering speedrunning, because I think I've got some ideas, some strategies, stuff like that down for speedrunning on PS4. Now, it's hard to speedrun on the PS4 because of, you have to worry about crashes, you have to worry about all these things, but I would be willing to do it for this kind of game, because this is a good game. Anything that I could really say about this, any like good things, any bad things. I mean, the game is good. It's not a bad, glitchy, terrible mess or anything. It actually is a very good game. It's just that, it does have a couple problems here and there, which is understandable. Games are going to have problems. It's whatever. But I don't really have too many serious problems with this game, but I do think that in some ways it could have been done much better. This is also one of the few games I would like to add that I'm actually going to be doing New Game Plus on, and actually like playing through New Game Plus. And my reasoning for, actually playing through New Game Plus on this and not something else is that New Game Plus on this is actually kind of entertaining, in that, there's different, like, enemies are in different places, there's new gear, just kind of stuff like that. Unfortunately, boss weapons don't get any better. Like, any weapon that pre-exists does not get any better. Like, when you play through New Game, you have to just be able to kill everything with your current weapons. There might be a new weapon here or there, some new armor here and there, but that's gonna be it. Currently, I'm actually on the verge of platinuming the game. I need one more trophy and then it's platinumed, and that trophy is just beat the game with a cleric, which that blue magic icon in the down right is what tells you what kind of class you are. I've used a cleric, and I've used a warrior, I've used a rogue, so I've used every class. Rogues I liked to be fast and stuff. The only problem is that despite how fast you can be, there's still limitations on how much you can dodge. So it really becomes irritating when you're trying to dodge and it doesn't want to work. So, there's that problem. But that being said, let's see, 32, 31. That being said, the game is still very, very good in every way I can think of. The game doesn't have any like actual wholesale problems. The game is honestly very, very, very good. So take that as you will. The game is very, very, very good. It's just that the game could stand to be much better. Also, the rune system for weapons is very interesting. Good lord, the difference. So the rune system in this game is a very interesting one. just in how it actually like works. It's also funny to kind of point out, but the difference between, like, let's say a weaker rune and a stronger rune is very, very, very large in this game. In that, in this game, like a weak rune and a strong rune, like the luck runes, for instance, in this game are the strongest runes in the entire game. But their luck runes are so good in this that it doesn't even like make any sense as to how good they are, because for instance, if you use a luck rune or a poison runes don't give you any buff, but if you put a poison rune and a luck rune on your weapon, then you get insane poison dot damage as well as your regular sword damage. And if you put that on a thief, then you can go from doing 40 damage with daggers to doing like 300 damage, and just like dance around and slice up bosses and stuff, and also be poisoning them at the same time. So the game is very good. The crashes, again, though, they are very much worth mentioning. Because of how the game's autosave system works, it only autosaves every time you either you enter a new area or you touch one of the checkpoints. Anything else is... So it's very easy to lose progress in this game, which is very unfortunate, and I honestly, that's like my that's the biggest pet peeve for me, is I hate losing progress in this. It's probably the thing I hate most. So, I mean, I've gotten used to the idea, or I've gotten used to losing progress, which isn't a good thing, but at least I can say I've gotten used to it. The game is very good in that your weapons and your combat and all that just run so well together. It's just unfortunate that that's really the only positive to the game, is the combat itself. Otherwise, if it wasn't for the combat, this game would be an easy 6. But the combat itself boosts what I'm going to give it by quite a large margin. So this game goes from being an average whatever game to, in my opinion, a decent rated game. So I'm going to give this game an 8 out of 10, and my reasoning for that is that the game is $20 for just the game. If you get the DLC, and that includes the weapon packs, the armor pack, you get the demon weapon pack, I believe it's the lion armor, the demon weapon pack, the lion armor pack. You get, let's see, you get a shield pack. You get you get like 3 starter packs, 2 that give you just straight up like upgrades and levels, and 1 that gives you an extra healing item permanently. So I would say that evens itself out a bit. As you can also see, though, there are areas in this game that you're not supposed to necessarily re-enter from at certain points. So this game is very much like a you know, you have to be careful what you do, because the game could easily break if you're not careful, kind of thing, which is kind of sad to admit, but it is true. So this is probably, as far as like the combat goes and dealing with crowds and stuff, it's probably the most fun I've had in a game in a while, but that still doesn't necessarily say much. So also, something I have noticed is that enemies will often, if they have a quest item and they respawn, they'll often just keep dropping the exact same quest item. So there are some enemies that you can't actually like farm, because when you die, or if you die or you just re-enter the area, then they'll just drop you another one of the quest item. So on the bright side, that means that, you know, you can't lose quest items permanently in this, because you just have to go re-kill an enemy. On the annoying side, that means that there are some enemies in this game that just won't give you any gear, so you can't farm on a specific enemy for gear. So, you know, that's both good and bad, because farming can break this game easy, because the game isn't hard to begin with, and farming would just make it even easier than it already is. So and as you can see, it's not. I'm not exactly like, you know, my character's not like fast by any means, but I'm a powerhouse. So, this game is very, very good in the combat sense, but the story, the kind of the pathing of like that you get, like the areas you get to explore, they're all very linear. So that's kind of upsetting, because I like big games, which is why I'm such a, you know, big advocate of the Dark Souls, like all of Dark Souls, because they're very they're very like big games that have a lot to them, that, you know, so they're large, and there's just a lot to the story, the gameplay, all of that. But it can be said that the game could always be better. Also, why are you standing again? You silly, silly fool. I was about to say, I was like, I will kill you. You don't really get any options in this game, and what few options you do get do kind of, it kind of like, they write like an epitaph kind of thing at the very end of the game saying like, you did this instead of this. It's almost like a telltale kind of thing. And it's like, I like it, but at the same time I feel like it could have been done better. So I think that they did a bad job, and so I'm a little upset that they did a bad job, but it's still kind of a cool idea. See, that's 2 quest items that I just kind of got. But the game is fun in a lot of ways. The enemies also will never be as strong as you are. Some of their attacks will never do what your attacks can do. For instance, some of your attacks hit multiple times and it's just like a crashing attack, and they'll use the exact same ability and it won't do that. But aside from the crashes, I'd say that the game is it's pretty okay for what it is. It's a great Dark Souls type game. It follows the Souls like formula pretty well. So with all that in mind, I'm going to give the game a I think I'm going to give the game like not a week, but I'm going to give the game a strong I'll give the game a strong it's tough. Yeah, I'll give the game a strong, probably a strong, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I keep going back on what I want to give it. I'll give it a strong 8. I'm not going to take back that 8, just because I do think the game has earned it. I just think that the game could have done this a bit better. It could have done a lot of things a bit better. And I'm kind of disappointed that the game didn't do some of what it does better than it does, but at the same time the game still is an amazing game that does a lot of things very, very, very well. So, with all that being said, I am Thedos, and I've been playing Lords of the Fallen, yeah, it's been fun, guys. I really have enjoyed this. I'll make sure that, like, you know, we can all, like, kind of hang out and stuff at some other point. But thank you guys for coming by. It's been fun. I'm going to have my impressions video out of this later, and I'm going to have my... and I'm going to have an impressions video of Neo out later. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for all the continued support. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Boop.